Hello and welcome back to the channel. The manhwa we are going to recap today is about a girl who was killed by her own family and regressed back in time to take her revenge. So let's begin with our recap. The manhwa kicks off with people gossiping that Lady Yuria Primrose has made her grand return. The women who once loved acting like they were above it all are now straight up spiraling. Word on the street is she made it big in business. And honestly, it's hard to find anyone in high society who hasn't heard the wild stories about her. Even the men? They low-key admire her. What's wild is she dipped from the Primrose family, left behind all that generational wealth, and made her own damn money. Iconic behavior. This is not the kind of slay you'll ever catch me doing. I'm crying. And on top of that, she's ranked #1 on the famous rich people list. Not only is she stupid rich, but she's also stunning. Like, unfair combo unlocked. The women around her start whispering about how she's decked out in jewels, like seriously iced out, and they're not so subtly shading her no way all that jewelry is real, right? But Yuria? She hits them with a soft flex. Actually, all her jewels are real. After all, her company, Unit, isn't just selling skincare anymore. They officially partnered with the Imperial Trading Guild and now handle luxury jewelry too. Like, business queen behavior. And just to top it off, she turns to one of the girls and says her skin looks kinda dry, super casual, and recommends a moisturizer from her own brand. Says it's made with her personal blessing, so she can guarantee it works. The lady looks shook, quickly apologizing for dragging her earlier and admitting she assumed someone like Yuria wouldn't know anything about business. Yuria just calmly says she's actually been interested in this field since she was a kid. And it's not surprising that this girl didn't know after all. She's never bothered to look past the Lyrica's dull older sister narrative. The woman tries to cover up her embarrassment like, she didn't mean it like that. But Yuria knows exactly what's up and mentally rolls her eyes. Girl, stop the cap. You're so annoying. Yuria reflects that if she had said any of this in the past, they would have dragged her through the dirt. But things are different now. Tables have turned. Even the greatest nobles can't say a word to her anymore. Not in the face of the empire-sized bag she's carrying. She used to just be the eldest daughter of the Primrose ducal family. Above her was her bright, golden boy brother Jiskin, and below her was her sunshine-coated younger sister, Lyrica. These two were her whole world. Lyrica, despite being illegitimate, got adopted into the ducal family, and her naturally bubbly personality won everyone over instantly. It didn't take long for her to become the favorite. Yuria, who was always quiet and serious, started getting compared to her non-stop. It became a story people ate up. The illegitimate girl with charm and the stoic, awkward legal daughter. And like that, their roles were cemented. But at least Yuria had one thing going for her: her blessing. It was a rare one too, the power to make dead plants bloom and out-of-season flowers blossom. A literal fertility-type blessing that made everything grow. Then came the huge social ripple when the secret ingredient in Unit's cosmetics turned out to be powered by her blessing. The results were insane. Noble women's skin literally started glowing. And from high society to the empire itself, demand skyrocketed. That's when the ugly duckling of the Primrose family turned her skills into a full-on empire. And now, she's one of the wealthiest women in the entire empire. Of course, that's when Lyrica decides to crawl out of the woodwork. With fake concern, she asks why Yuria never contacted her. Starts acting like she actually cared or something. Says that if Yuria really wanted to leave the family, she should have at least stayed in touch. But her eyes are clearly stuck on Yuria's dress. She even asks if Yuria's really into jewelry, since she sold her necklace back then. Lyrica had assumed Yuria didn't care for fancy things. Yuria realizes she doesn't want to wear things the Duke gave her. That hits Lyrica hard. She tries to keep it together but raises her voice, saying Yuria shouldn't talk about their father like that. Even if the Duke disowned her, he's still her father. Lyrica has the audacity to act like she's got the moral high ground. Says Yuria's still the same cold person, even now. She really thought she had changed, but Yuria's like, you know what? The one who hasn't changed is Lyrica, the same weak, submissive illegitimate child, who acts all innocent while treating Yuria like dirt. No worse than dirt. At least trash has value when it's recycled. And this? This is the picture Lyrica has carefully painted behind Yuria's back for years. Then the Duke himself shows up. Says Lyrica's right, how can she call her own father just a Duke? He knows Yuria doesn't like him, but says family isn't something you can cut off like a loose thread. He even stretches out his hand to escort her. Yuria deadpans, why does no one ever break free from their own expectations? Then Jiskin shows up too, asking Yuria to do the first dance with her older brother. Yuria straight up rejects him. That makes him furious. Like, dude, really thought offering his hand was some big reconciliation move. Then enter the walking red flag, Marcel. He has the actual nerve to ask her for a dance, saying there's no romantic connection now, but there will be soon. Everyone Duke, Jiskin, the nobles, they all snap. How dare this man say that to Yuria when he just proposed to Lyrica right in front of her? Watching the chaos unfold, Yuria's like, do any of them even realize how they treated her before she got rich? This is the same Marcel who cheated on her with Lyrica. The same brother who always defended Lyrica and screamed at her. The same great father who tried to poison his own daughter. And now, they really think they can reach out to her like nothing happened? It's actually shameful. She shuts it down by saying she already has a partner. And right on cue, her partner finally shows up. He apologizes for being late, but she brushes it off, saying he was busy running her errands anyway. The nobles seem to recognize him, but Yuria just smirks and tells them to say hello to her man. Then she tells everyone to please leave her rise from the bullied ugly duckling to the baddest swan in the empire. That's just the beginning. Yuria remembers her death clearly. Like, literally. She begged her brother and her father to save her. The floor was cold, the air was freezing, and their hearts even colder. Her father, in his usual emotionally dead tone, told her he wouldn't bother putting a sword to her neck. Making his daughter drink poison was apparently his final act of grace. She figured she'd just gulp it down and go meet her mother in heaven. So, she drank it, started coughing like crazy. And her rat-faced brother? This man had the audacity to say their dad was too generous for giving her an easy death after everything she'd done. The Duke told Jiskin to go look after his tongue after all. She was just his little sister. Like, huh? Excuse me, sir? Bipolar much? Jiskin said that ever since Lyrica showed up, he's only had one little sister and it's definitely not Yuria. As far as he was concerned, from now on, no one should dare tarnish the oh-so-precious Primrose name. They were already planning to wipe Yuria off the family records anyway. Meanwhile, Yuria is literally dying, coughing up her lungs, wondering, how did her life even get this bad? The looks they gave her, like she wasn't even trash on the side of the road, but something worse haunted her. Killed by her own family. Betrayed by the man she loved. The final reason she even ended up in that hellhole? Marcel. The guy she once chased after like a fool. That's when it hit her, no one in this world ever loved her. Not her dad. Not her brother. And not Marcel. The only one who truly loved her was her mom. She remembered being held in her mother's arms when she was a kid, carefree, warm, safe. Back then, she thought nothing could go wrong. Never in her wildest dreams did she imagine she'd go out like this. Is this really the end? Is this seriously how her story ends? But then right as her consciousness started fading, something clicked. A forgotten memory. A modern-day classroom. Someone asked a girl if she'd read a novel. A trending one. The kind of fluffy parenting drama people couldn't stop talking about. Its title? Please Love the Abandoned Princess. The story was about a commoner girl, Lyrica, who became the lady of a ducal family. At first, she was looked down on for being born out of wedlock, but with her sunshine personality, people eventually loved her. Oh, so that's why I don't trust sweet girls. The story was all about her defeating her villainous half-sister. One of those stories. Cliché, but still a banger. And guess who the antagonist was? Yuria. The typical side character who tormented the heroine out of pure jealousy. Now it all made sense. She was that Yuria. And this place? This whole thing was the actual novel world she read in her past life. She should have noticed earlier. The moment Lyrica walked into their home, she started hoarding all the love, father, brother, everyone. Slowly, their resentment toward Yuria grew. Lyrica flipped the social circle too. Like some kind of social sorcerer, she got them all on her side. And the more they adored her, the more they hated Yuria. When her fiancé cheated on her with Lyrica of all people and demanded to break off the engagement, that's when it all spiraled. And now, Yuria finally got it. She was the villain. Just another extra to be stepped on so the heroine could shine. Even that little thread of hope her mother had been cut. But maybe, just maybe, she'd see her mom again soon. That thought made death feel kind of okay. So, to this trash fire of a family and this absolute misery of a life, let her go out in peace. Until she opened her eyes. Someone was calling her name. Yuria slowly blinked awake in a room. Her mother was there, gently touching her forehead, checking her temperature. Her mom asked if she was finally coming back to her senses. Yuria grabbed her mom's hand like she was holding on to reality itself and asked, "Where are they?" Her mom looked a little panicked, wondering if she'd had a nightmare or if she was still delirious. The doctors had said once her fever dropped, everything would be fine. But to Yuria, nothing felt fine. She couldn't help but ask if she was dead. Like, is this heaven or? Her mom looked shook. Dead? Girl, you're only 19 and why is she talking like that? Wait, 19? She just turned 19? Then someone else arrived and when the door opened, it was Lyrica. Beaming, looking all sunshine and sparkles, saying she was so glad Yuria woke up. And not just her. Jiskin was there too. Both of them standing right there at her bedside. Like they hadn't just stabbed her in the back and buried her alive in her last life. Lyrica stands beside her with a bright, too perfect smile, saying she's totally fine and seriously happy. But Yuria, still dazed, begins to wonder, was everything just some weird, long fever dream? Or could it be, did she actually time travel? Their mother, clearly worried, tells Lyrica and Jiskin to stay with Yuria while she goes to fetch the doctor. Lyrica immediately assures their mother not to worry, promising that they'll take good care of Yuria now that she, meaning their mom, is gone. Just like that, the casual statement lands like a rock in Yuria's chest. Then Jiskin chimes in, straight up accusing her of faking it, like she's way too old to be playing sick. But Yuria remembers. She remembers everything. She's heard these exact words before, almost copy-paste, when she was recovering from that super serious illness in her first life. And if this is just a fever dream, then why does the potion her father gave her feel this real? She remembers dying in the winter of May, right after her mother told her she had just turned 19. But now if this is really the same year, then that means she's gone back one full year. Jiskin questions if she's truly sick or just faking it to ruin Lyrica's birthday banquet. That same accusation echoes loud in her head. He said the same damn thing last time too. Even with a whole time loop reset, some people's personalities really just don't change. Lyrica giggles, trying to ease the tension, saying Jiskin is being mean and that Yuria shouldn't take him seriously. She adds that she's just glad Yuria's awake. But Yuria can't even fake a smile. She lets out a dry scoff. That same innocent face, those twinkling eyes, they hit a monster. She knows it now. She's seen it. Back then, she tried to convince herself it was all a misunderstanding. But Lyrica just smirked and tilted her head, asking whether Yuria was pretending not to know, or if she genuinely didn't get it. Yuria had no clue what Lyrica was hinting at. So Lyrica played the whole oops misunderstanding card. Classic move. But it was a lie. A massive one. Because the truth? Lyrica had orchestrated all of it. She was the devil who dragged her straight into the gutter when they were barely even friends. The first red flag? When Lyrica brought her embroidery and asked for help, claiming she couldn't finish it on her own. If only Yuria had realized then that it was all just devil's whispers. Then her father exploded at her. How could she? How dare she rip the only keepsake left of Lyrica's late mother? He screamed that they had always overlooked Yuria's behavior, but this time she'd gone too far. Yuria stood frozen, trying to defend herself, trying to say she didn't do anything like that. That she didn't tear that handkerchief. But her father shut her down, yelling if she was seriously trying to say. Lyrica tore it herself. She tried to explain that she was only doing embroidery on it because Lyrica asked her to. But when she turned to Lyrica, she was met with Oscar-worthy acting. Lyrica, looking all sad and betrayed, confirmed that she did ask Yuria to help, but she never expected her to tear it up. Cue the dramatic servant whispers. Everyone started taking Lyrica's side, no questions asked. And after that, things got even worse. Lyrica kept framing her, bit by bit, until everyone saw Yuria as a clumsy, spoiled, money-burning villain. All fingers pointed at her and she had no clue how to defend herself. Back in the present, Lyrica comments on how quiet Yuria is, wondering aloud if she's still sick. Jiskin jumps back in, saying he knew Yuria was faking it for attention. But Lyrica laughs it off, waving her hand, saying not to say such things because she knows Yuria will definitely show up at the banquet and make the night even more sparkly and special. Yuria slowly, casually agreeing. Her response is so smooth it actually makes Lyrica flinch a little. Yuria says, Of course she'll come, how could she possibly miss Lyrica's birthday? She's been so looking forward to it. Acting like she's trying to ruin the party is kinda harsh, don't you think? Then, with the fakest, sweetest smile, she wishes Lyrica an early happy birthday. Says she hopes it's a day to remember just like last time. Because the last birthday of Lyrica's was straight up iconic for her. Unforgettable. She remembers being humiliated at that party wearing that stress-coated dress Lyrica gave her. Everyone made fun of her for it. But not this time. This time, she's not letting Lyrica's words shake her. No more getting pushed around. She's taking her revenge. Every single one of them, Lyrica, her father, her brother, and that man she loved with her whole damn heart, only for him to look at her with nothing but pity. Even Marcel. That two-faced backstabber helped in her death, too. This time, she's not dying for their plotlines. She plans to escape their clutches, save her mom, and live her own happy ending. A second life's been handed to her, and she's not wasting it. She'll ditch the trash that's not worth clinging to, and take control of her life, on her terms. And step 1. Destroy Marcel, the man who abandoned her like she was nothing. The very first trigger in Yuria's tragic life had always been seeing Marcel. The memory hits like a gut punch, the way he looked after pushing her into the corner with that affair he had with her half-sister. And now, here he is again, standing in front of her, pretending to care. Marcel casually asks if she's feeling okay, saying he heard she was sick. His tone is polite, sure, but his eyes, his vibe? They scream, I don't give a damn. If this was her past self, she might have melted right then, thinking maybe he was just a little blunt and this was his awkward way of showing concern. Maybe he came all this way just for her, just to see if she was all right. But now, she can see right through him. He's only here under the excuse of visiting her, but in reality, he's just trying to find an easy path to Lyrica. Back then, she had already sensed something was off but chose to ignore it. She remembers that stupid handkerchief he always kept close. Even in her past life, he carried it around like some sacred token. The embroidery on it is of the Duke Primrose crest, not even his own family's. Sharing handkerchiefs isn't just a casual thing, it's a lover's symbol. But it's not like she gave it to him. When she once offered him a handkerchief, told him to take one of hers, he had straight up replied that he appreciated the sentiment but quote that they are not even married. It feels a bit burdensome. And now, he's standing here trying to act all chill. He tells her she seems quiet today and asks if she's still upset or something. Yuria calmly replies that she's doing perfectly fine. Honestly, she's just watching this awkward version of herself, the one who used to smile and not know what to say. That girl? She's gone. Dead. Literally. She finally looks him straight in the eye and drops the bomb. She knows. She knows he's in love with Lyrica. Marcel freezes, then fumbles to deny it, claiming it's some misunderstanding. But deep down, he's already mentally drafting his apology because it's kinda obvious. Yuria tells him not to bother with the fake excuses, she's not that dumb anymore. He tries to play it safe, saying she can be mad at him, but she better not say anything to Lyrica. Yuria scoffs. A love so dramatic, so forbidden it's practically romance novel tier. But she's not scared of his barking anymore. She's died once, and nothing he says or does scares her now. She tells him he's got the wrong idea. She wants to support their epic love story. Marcel grows visibly uneasy. His brows twitch as he asks what kind of help is she's planning this time. Yuria smiles politely. She says she's just been lying in bed, thinking. And this time, she really had time to reflect. He tries to save face, claiming he didn't visit because he was busy. Yuria continues, unfazed. After nearly dying, she's realized that maybe she's been living too selfishly. Maybe she's been acting childish. She thanks him for putting up with her all this time. Engagements get shuffled around within noble families all the time, it's not a big deal. The real issue? Her dad probably won't accept the switch. But don't worry, she's got a plan. A great one. She asks Marcel if he wants to hear it. She's about to ruin him and she's going to start at Lyrica's birthday banquet. When Yuria finally arrives, her name is announced at the entrance, and the room collectively murmurs. Same old, same old. Everyone notices she's late again. Like she always shows up fashionably late just to be the main character or whatever. She casually calls out to Lyrica, who turns around with her usual fake sweetness until she sees Yuria's outfit. And then she freezes. Yuria is wearing blue. Lyrica didn't expect that. She knows Lyrica made sure to tell her through a maid, of course, that the dress code was red. super extra, fancy red. And Lyrica herself would be in pink. Originally, the plan was to make Lyrica shine in pink while all the other girls wore blue. But back then, Yuria showed up in red, unintentionally, and ended up looking like some desperate, jealous attention seeker. The whole room dragged her behind her back for it. But now she's wearing blue. She plays the game. Still, the dress isn't even the big surprise Lyrica's getting tonight. That's just the appetizer. Yuria's got a real present prepared. The guests start whispering again. Now they're asking why is Marcel here like this. Lyrica turns around to see him and her eyes go wide. Because this man has shown up in a pink suit. The exact same shade as Lyrica's dress. And just like that, her perfect plan is starting to fall apart. Lyrica is shook the moment she sees the pale pink clothes. She's confused. She definitely didn't tell anyone about her dress code. So why is someone else wearing the same color? She turns and hears whispers. Isn't that Yuria's fiancé? Why is he matching Lyrica? Are they, like, a couple? Cue panic. Lyrica hurries to clarify things, saying to Marcel that there must be a misunderstanding about the dress code. But Marcel? He doubles down. He straight up says it's not a misunderstanding. He even says, loud and proud, that after reading the embroidery on the handkerchief, he couldn't stand the idea of people thinking Yuria was the one who gave it to him. Nope. He had to make things clear. Lyrica's panicking hard now. Why is he doing this in public? And then because this man has zero chill, he says it took a lot of courage to come this far, but he can't keep hiding his feelings anymore. He kneels and proposes to her. This guy, who Yuria used to obsess over in the past, is now Lyrica's puppet. And honestly, the results have been kinda spectacular. Cut to the Duke, fuming. His veins are practically popping. How dare Marcel try to drag down the family's name just to flirt? Yuria's mom tries to calm him down while Yuria is absolutely thriving. This is exactly how it happened in her past life. Lyrica barely had to speak to destroy her. Time to put the plan with Marcel into action. Yuria smirks. She knows the Duke is obsessed with reputation. So if the guests start saying that Lyrica and Marcel look good together, he won't have any choice but to approve their marriage. This might be her last shot. After all, if Marcel marries her, he won't be able to see Lyrica anymore. This idiot thinks he's standing up for love, when he's really just being a pawn in someone else's game. Sure, Lyrica told him the color of her dress, but she never expected him to do a whole proposal in front of the nobles. Because of that, she's now the center of the gossip storm and has officially tarnished the ducal family's name. Their father's worst nightmare. Yuria fakes a sad look. Honestly, she's nailing it. She tells her father that she'll just walk away and let Yuria have her love. But the Duke isn't moved one bit. Man doesn't care about love, he only cares about the family name. He says no one, absolutely no one, has the right to smear their reputation like this. Yuria starts crying, saying she's sorry and that because of her flaws, she's once again humiliated the family. She hopes that Marcel and Lyrica will live happily ever after. Maybe the reason her engagement is crumbling is that she's just not good enough. The door suddenly opens. Jiskin walks in with Lyrica following behind. The Duke immediately blows up, yelling at them for arriving now when he's been waiting forever. Jiskin speaks for Lyrica, saying she may have made a mistake, but she had no bad intentions. Yuria, meanwhile, watches the whole thing, finally seeing through Lyrica's pattern. She always makes other people do things on her behalf, then pretends to be innocent when it backfires. The Duke's anger only intensifies. He yells at Jiskin, asking if he's lost his mind. After all this disgrace, how could he still want to maintain the engagement? He declares it should be called off immediately. Even Jiskin's left speechless now. The Duke turns to Lyrica, demanding to know why the hell she gave an embroidered handkerchief to her sister's fiancé. Yuria leans forward, curious to see what kind of lie Lyrica will come up with this time. Lyrica calmly explains that Yuria's embroidery wasn't good, so Mr. Amel asked her to make one instead. That was it, no other intention. The Duke scoffs, saying that even if someone asked her for a favor, she should have had the brains to act smarter. And that's when Lyrica pulls her little trump card. She says that no matter how much education she gets from the ducal family, it won't change the fact that she comes from a different background. Jiskin tries to comfort her, telling her not to worry and that all of this is really Marcel's fault. Even Yuria's mom steps in and tells Lyrica not to say things like that. After everything that's happened, it has nothing to do with her origins. Lyrica's touched by the support until her mom adds that, by the way, the matching dress situation needs to be addressed. Yuria perks up at that. She's been waiting for this moment. It's the first time she's heard their mother speak so firmly, and even Lyrica seems thrown off. Lyrica says maybe it was a coincidence. But their mother shuts that down quick. All the other guests wore blue. Only the two of them were in pale pink. That's way too specific to be an accident. Yuria finally steps in and says there's no need to keep hiding. Like their mother said, they might as well tell the truth. Lyrica plays dumb. She says she doesn't know what they're all talking about. And then boom. Jiskin snaps. He yells at everyone to stop this nonsense. And then to their mother he asks what more she needs to do to take Yuria's side. Just because she's her biological child? The guy's off the rails. Jail, please. Even their mother is like, what is he even talking about? Yuria's pissed. He didn't say anything when the Duke was ripping into Lyrica earlier, and now he wants to pop off on their mom? If this is how he sees the woman who raised Lyrica, despite not being her birth mom, someone who treated her with no discrimination, then forget it. She finally says what everyone's thinking. This conversation is going nowhere. They need to call Marcel. Let's settle this face to face. The Duke stays silent for a while before finally speaking, saying they'll do as Yuria wishes. But Jiskin is the only one who disagrees. He genuinely believes this isn't something they should be doing. The Duke snaps at him, telling him to get a grip, that this isn't something they need to get emotionally involved in. Lyrica has no more words to give. She stays quiet. The Duke then announces that he's calling Marcel in, and he'll be holding him accountable for this mess. Now Marcel arrives. He steps up to the Duke, clearly shaken, and apologizes for everything. He knows he's just a mere count and probably doesn't even deserve the Duke's attention, but his feelings for Lyrica are real. He sincerely wants the Duke to give them his blessing to allow him and Lyrica to be together. Lyrica, however, is completely not fine, calm, even. She tells her father that this is a one-sided claim. She says she's sorry if she gave Marcel the wrong idea, but she was just being kind to him because he used to be her sister's fiancé. She honestly has no feelings for him. As expected, she's cold and efficient when it comes to cutting ties. This is the first time Yuria sees Lyrica looking so anxious. But well, she's made others fall into traps before guess karma's finally making its rounds. Marcel then asks Lyrica if she really has no feelings for him, then what was that whole handkerchief thing about? He knows perfectly well what that symbolized. Lyrica replies that he asked her for it because he didn't like her sister's embroidery skills. Marcel is stunned. When he looks at the handkerchief, the memory hits him hard. He remembers everything she said to him. He blurts out the truth that she told him she loved him, but they couldn't be together because of Yuria, and even if they couldn't be with each other, she would still cherish her feelings for him. Back to the present, the Duke yells at him for saying all this. He's furious, demanding to know what the hell Lyrica has done. Lyrica remains calm, but she lies to her father. She says Marcel is just upset, and that's why he's making all these lies up. She swears she never said anything like that. Yuria had only thrown a single handkerchief, yet it's caused this much chaos. Marcel then turns to Lyrica again, asking if she's afraid of Yuria, telling her she doesn't have to be because Yuria already gave them her blessing. This grabs Lyrica's attention. The mother finally speaks, saying whatever happened between Lyrica and Marcel was nonsense and that they should apologize to Yuria. She accuses Marcel of using Yuria's name to justify his lies. Marcel tries to defend himself, saying he didn't lie about Yuria. But again, the Duke cuts him off sharply, warning him not to say another word. Not only is he making false accusations, but now he's also dragging Yuria into it. Lyrica tells him straight up that his behavior is straight up disrespectful to both her and her sister. Wait a sec, madam, you sure you got enough self-respect to even be insulted? At this point, everyone realizes this man has completely lost it. Marcel insists that everyone's just misunderstanding him and that he's sure Lyrica really loves him. He's convinced the real her wouldn't act like this. So he turns to Yuria, saying it must be her, she must be behind all this. He asks if she's trying to threaten Lyrica. Yuria, clearly done with this circus, asks what the hell he's even talking about. It's obvious this man is just digging his own grave now. Marcel shouts again, accusing her of pretending to bless them while secretly plotting against them. He calls her out as some kind of evil mastermind. The Duke roars back that this is the end of it. He won't let Marcel have either of his daughters, and he's breaking off the engagement. He declares that he'll be filing a formal protest with the Count's house. Jiskin watches the entire scene unfold and thinks Marcel is honestly the most pathetic fool he's ever seen. Marcel is then dragged out. Later, Yuria is sitting with her mother. She never imagined Marcel would turn out to be that type of guy. Her mom is seriously sorry that she got her engaged to someone like that. Yuria reassures her, says she didn't know either. And she's fine now. After all, she's the one who insisted on marrying a man like him. He wasn't just fake with Lyrica, he was downright cruel. He brought Yuria back to her father after she tried to run, and now she's just glad she got to see his true colors. She's learned her lesson. Her mom tells her not to worry. She'll handle the annulment paperwork herself and talk to the Duke so Yuria won't have to be involved. Yuria tells her mother she has something she needs to say. She thinks to herself that soon, her mom is going to die, but she can't bring herself to say that out loud. So instead, she opens up and confesses her deepest feelings. She says she'll take care of everything, the household, the family. Her mom should only focus on herself. Her health isn't good, and Yuria's afraid that if she keeps stressing over things like this, something really bad might happen. Her mom listens quietly, then says she didn't realize how much her silence was making Yuria worry. She thought keeping quiet was helping, but it looks like she was wrong. So she says she'll start attending social events again and strengthen her standing in society because no one is going to mess with her daughter again. In her past life, her mom died just a few months after she turned 20. The cause was lead poisoning. Since this world is still behind in technological development, lead is still used in cosmetics, and it's honestly not even that rare for noble women to die because of it. Her mom, though she had a naturally weak constitution and lived a quiet life, barely even wore makeup. That should have made her low risk, but she ended up being the first among her social circle to get poisoned like that. She had even tried to voice her doubts to her father, saying something felt really off. Her mom didn't even wear that much makeup, so how could she get lead poisoning? But her father didn't want to hear it. He slapped her. He screamed at her that her mom wore powder just to look pretty and died for it. Then, as if none of it even mattered, he dusted his hands clean and scoffed, saying both mother and daughter were the same. That happened before her regression, but even after returning, the only person who can actually protect her now is her mother. And this time around, she has no plans of losing her. Not in this life. She plans to do everything to protect her mom's happiness and her own. Since the whole Marcel Lyrica disaster, Lyrica hasn't dared to show her face in front of her. Even Jiskin seems low-key intimidated. There haven't been any more pointless provocations like before, and thanks to that, Yuria finally gets to spend some chill time with her mom, peacefully walking around the estate. One day, Yuria asks her mom if she'd like to go out with her to the upcoming festival. Her mom smiles and says she'd love to. Yuria is genuinely happy, but the longer this happiness lasts, the more anxious she gets. She knows her mother's death isn't far off, and if it wasn't an accident, if someone was behind it, then chances are high that Lyrica is the culprit. But a gut feeling alone isn't enough. If she pushes this without proof, she'll just end up looking like some crazy conspiracy freak again. Her head's already pounding with stress. She needs to find out the truth. She needs to find the culprit. But there's literally no one she can trust to help. Her mom notices something's up and asks her what's wrong. Yuria looks troubled. She brushes it off, saying it's nothing. But just then, her mom starts coughing. And it's not some mild cough either, it's deep and violent, like she's struggling for air. For a moment, it even sounds like she's coughing up blood. After her mom passes, when Yuria had checked the dishes used by her, nothing seemed weird. But what if something's being added to her food during the cooking process? Right after tea time, Yuria tells her mom that she needs to talk to the butler. The butler knocks shortly after, asking if she called for him. He's the one who oversees the kitchen and has served the family for generations. He carries a sense of pride with him, and all the other servants follow his lead. He's honestly a decent guy, but his attitude towards her is kinda crap. Maybe he thinks she's a disgrace to the family. Yuria asks him to come with her to the kitchen. He's surprised and asks if there's something about the meals that didn't sit right with her. If she didn't like something, she could just tell him. He'll scold the chef right away. But she tells him that's not the issue. She looks him dead in the eye and says she wants to go to the kitchen somewhere she's literally never stepped foot in before. That alone shocks him. Someone who's in charge of the staff. If she really wanted to choose someone out, she would have gone already. So if she's calling him to go with her, it means she's planning to do something else and she wants his cooperation, not his judgment. The butler apologizes, realizing he may have overstepped. There's only one reason Yuria is bringing him. Her reputation among the servants isn't great, and she needs his influence and authority to get things done. He nods, saying that before they go, she needs to agree to his rules first. But Yuria doesn't wait. She kicks the kitchen door open without hesitation. All the servants freeze, totally stunned. The butler quickly tells them to greet her properly. Yuria addresses them all, apologizing for barging in, but saying she needs them to step away from the dishes. The chefs look startled but comply. She tells them straight up. She needs to confirm something, so no one should take their eyes off what she's doing. And they're all going to serve as witnesses. The worst part of her life isn't even the moment she died. It's now 5 days into her second life when Yuria locks herself in her room, skipping meals, while the maids whisper outside, panicked and wondering if she's really going to die just like her mother. They're more worried about the trouble they'll be in if something happens to her than her actual well-being. She's been shut in all this time, and they have no idea what she's doing in there. But inside, Yuria is laser-focused. She needs to figure out who caused her mother's death, who's actually responsible. It's something she never even dreamed of uncovering in her first life. Her eyes land on the syrup bottle, the same one her mother used to drink religiously. If there's something shady about it, then someone among these servants is guilty. Someone's going down. She refuses to let the same thing happen again. She asks if all the servants currently in the house work in the kitchen. They reply yes, but their voices are tight with concern. If something's wrong, they say, she can talk to them, but she shuts it down. This is her business, and if they really want to help, then they better not interfere. Even the butler notices. Yuria's showing a whole new side of herself. She's always been quiet, soft, but now she's got this cold, commanding energy. And what's with those flowers? She walks straight to the syrup, drops something in it, and watches closely. If her research and assumptions are right, the reaction will expose everything. The maid freaks out. How dare she mess with Madame's food? But the butler snaps at her to back off. He's seen enough to know something's up. The flower she used? It's called bakos, just a basic-looking wild plant you can find growing almost anywhere, all year round. It's not fancy, not usually used in medicine, and most people overlook it. But when it comes into contact with lead, the syrup starts to burn. Smoke rises, smoke with a unique, unmistakable smell. The syrup turns black, and the plant completely dissolves. Yuria doesn't need anything else. That's the proof. Someone tried to kill her mom. She turns to the servants and asks, "Who made this syrup?" A pink-haired girl hesitantly raises her hand. She did. Yuria stares at her, recognizing the maid instantly. She's one of Lyrica's closest people. That's all the confirmation she needs. She asks the girl how long she's been in charge of the syrup. The maid replies that she joined the ducal house 6 months ago, and ever since then, she's been the one handling it. Yuria looks at the butler and asks if he saw what just happened. He nods grimly. That's it. Yuria yells for the guards to take the girl in. This is the murderer. The servants are in absolute shock. What murder is she even talking about? She explains it all. That flower causes a unique reaction when it touches lead. The pink-haired girl goes pale. Wait, does that mean the pot is made of lead? The maid starts to panic, trying to explain that there must be some mistake, but the butler cuts her off, yelling that this is serious. She literally tried to poison the Duchess. The girl stammers, trembling, and begins to tell them what happened. One day, Lyrica approached her, asking if she was the new maid working in the kitchen. Lyrica had this sweet, caring vibe. She told her that if anything was difficult, she could talk to her anytime. The maid had been moved by her kindness. Lyrica told her, since she is the same age as her, she care about her and ask her if there's anything she need help with. Just ask. The maid had mentioned that she was using a heavy pot to make the syrup, but wasn't sure if she could complain about it. Kitchen stuff wasn't really something you could just talk about. But Lyrica had smiled and said it was fine, then handed her a new pot. A smaller one. The maid had been so grateful, thinking Lyrica was just being kind. Lyrica even told her she didn't need to say thank you, it was no big deal. Now, the maid turns to Yuria, pleading. She's sure Lyrica didn't mean to harm the Duchess. There must be some kind of misunderstanding. But Yuria is done with excuses. She's cold now, furious. What kind of oversight is that? The pot was literally about to kill someone. Everyone knows the Duchess loved her desserts. Like, she was obsessed. The main meals could change, but desserts? Never. They were consistent. and that made them way more likely to be laced with lead poisoning over time. Yuria snaps. It was Lyrica. She's the one who killed the Duchess. She tells the butler to summon Lyrica immediately. The butler yells at the servants to get her now. But this won't be easy. Lyrica's not the type to go down quietly. When Lyrica shows up, she plays it calm but eventually confesses. Yes, she's the one who gave that lead pot to the maid. She says it was just because she felt bad seeing how hard the girl worked. The maid looks at her now all happy. The butler questions Lyrica, asking where she even got the pot. Lyrica says it's from the same street she grew up on. She'd gone back to visit, and there was this merchant who sold her the pot, told her it was super durable. She claims she had no idea it was made of lead. The butler presses her for more. What street was it? Does she remember the merchant? But she lies. Says she doesn't quite remember. That's when the servants start to turn on her. Like seriously? She bought a lead pot, can't even say where from, and just gave it to the maid who made the Duchess's desserts? Lyrica tries to defend herself, saying everyone eats the sweets. If she had known about the lead, why would she give that specific pot for making those? She begs, she cries. Says they're wronging her. But to Yuria, she's just a snake trying to weasel her way out again. Yuria knows it deep down she's been avoiding desserts for the past 6 months on purpose. Which is super weird, because someone who used to be obsessed with sweets just randomly giving them up. Not normal. It's obvious now that she was subconsciously protecting herself. Her mother body couldn't handle it, but Yuria had young body didn't get hit as hard. But if she'd kept eating them like before, the lead would have totally wrecked her too. She lays it all out. Lyrica may claim she doesn't know where the pot came from, but it's crystal clear that bringing unauthorized cookware into the kitchen is straight up wrong. Someone has to be held accountable. The maid turns to Lyrica, stating that she specifically told her to use that pot for making sweets for the Duchess. Lyrica scoffs, like this girl's lost her mind. She fires back, asking when the heck she ever told her to use it for actual cooking. She says she gave it to her as a decorative piece, not for the actual syrup. Yuria watches this go down and realizes something chilling. In the frenzy of self-preservation, Lyrica could probably cut off her own limbs without blinking. In her previous life, there was nothing this maid didn't do for Lyrica. And now, she's just been thrown under the bus. Hard. The maid is stunned. The other servants are shocked too. What just happened? But honestly, Yuria's low-key glad. Karma really came for the maid. She's way more vulnerable than anyone expected. And now, Yuria sees a real shot at revenge. Much easier than before.